Information that suggests that there is a planned unrest during next week's local government elections, in fact, in a couple of hours' time. It says, however, it is ready for any eventuality. President Cyril Ramaphosa ordered the deployment of 10,000 soldiers to assist the police to keep law and order. Now, let's discuss this. We are joined via Zoom by Pikkie Greeff. He's the National Secretary of the South African National Defence Union. Pikkie Greeff, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Now, how ready is the SANDF to be deployed? I know that initially it was said that 2 days before the elections there will be that deployment, and then 2 days after, the SANDF members will still be around just monitoring the situation.
No, look, the SANDF is definitely ready for this one. It's been in the making for quite some time. Despite the fact of what happened in July, these plans were already underway. I think it's a very well-planned deployment, and what people must not expect is they should not expect to see troops at the polling stations. The biggest component of this deployment will be troops who are on standby in their barracks in the event that the normal law enforcement agencies run into trouble and cannot deal with matters on the ground. And then there's a component of the SANDF who is specifically tasked and sent to national key points and to guard areas or facilities that are strategic points in this country. And then the fourth contingent, or the third contingent of these soldiers, are assigned to watch after or guard over the provincial and the national election warehouse of the Independent Electoral Council.
Now, Pikkie, we know that with the July unrest, there were several thousand SANDF members deployed, but specifically in 2 provinces. With this kind of deployment, you have, 9 provinces. Of course, you've got a couple of provinces that are earmarked as hotspots, including KZN, Gauteng, and the Eastern Cape, and several others, including Mpumalanga. In fact, how different or difficult would it be to have all your members spread out, particularly because whilst you do have highlighted hotspots, we've also seen 1 or 2, springing out elsewhere outside of that list that has been sent out by the SAPS.
Well, I think the important thing to remember is that the SANDF and the basis of the SANDF is spread all over the country. And the specific units, which I won't go into detail for obvious reasons, the specific units that have been tasked with being on standby and guarding certain facilities are spread out all over all of the 9 provinces. The transport is available and ready. The troops are available and ready. And if it's called on them to go out and do their tasks, they are there, they are on standby. South Africa is covered as far as the SANDF is concerned in this deployment.
Pikkie, remind us again, so South Africans will be obviously going to the polls, some in very nervous areas, of course, because of the violence that we have seen where councillors were shot and killed, as an example. What do South Africans expect the SANDF to do in an area where violence does break out? Where are they confined in terms of their mandate as the SANDF?
Well, I think in this particular mandate, the President has made it clear in his proclamation that the Defence Force is there in support of law enforcement agencies. In other words, that really just in simple terms means that a soldier who's deployed on the ground is also a peace officer in the same way that a police officer is, with the same powers. I must stress, however, that doesn't mean you're going to see soldiers out on the street necessarily, where the normal law enforcement agencies, such as the police, cannot control or contain a particular situation for whatever reason. Then there is a Defence Force contingent on standby who will have the same powers as police. Any bad actors or would-be bad actors during this election must understand very well that the security around this election is very tight, and the SANDF is definitely the right backup to have. And might just add that it's not so unusual to see the SANDF deployed in elections. It's been happening since 1994. Not on this scale, though, but the scale must be seen against the context of what happened in July, and obviously intelligence that came from July. But other than that, South Africa is covered. I think South Africans can go to the polls tomorrow, resting assured that their security is safe and in good hands.
Pikkie, we've got a few seconds left of this interview, but I want to ask you something that you probably may not be able to answer, but I'm hoping you can. I mean, there have been questions, of course, about should the SANDF always be deployed in situations like this? Surely, this is the role of the South African police service and not necessarily, the National Defence Force.
I don't think one should normalize the deployment of the Defence Force in civilian street. I think, however, I say that with a caveat, being that it's not unusual during elections to see the SANDF deployed. It's been happening in every single election we've had in democratic South Africa, only on a smaller scale. I think what the state has done here is it's gone into a very cautious mode and placed more people on standby for this deployment. Most of those soldiers will probably not even leave their barracks over the weekend and simply just be on standby.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much, Pikkie, for your time this afternoon. That's where we have to leave it for now. Pikkie Greeff, National Secretary of the South African National Defence Force Union. All right, now we'll have more of your top stories when we return. Stay with us.